I may or may not be looking at a cheat sheet. The hardest part of doing this solo is not having someone to riff off of. I'm just like trying to remember the things I want to talk about. Where like Chris was good at remembering the things to talk about. Hey there, adventurers. Welcome to Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Kayla, and this week I'm talking about fall because the weather here today, currently 61 degrees. Like 2 days ago, it was 80. So I personally am very excited. I have a sweatshirt on today. I feel like last year I did not get to have sweatshirt weather. Like I just want to be able to throw on a hoodie. And I didn't feel like I got to do that last year. So I'm really hopeful that this year I can actually do that. But this week we are going to talk all about fall and the fun things that you can do during fall, the places you can go, the things you can see. Because if we're being honest, fall is the best time of year for doing stuff. Like winter's fun for doing things, but like the weather can be bad. And if the roads are icy, that makes it difficult. And then like summer, it's probably too hot to go anywhere. And then spring is usually just like everything's kind of gloomy. And like the end of spring is really pretty because the flowers are all blossoming. But the beginning of spring is just sort of like bleh. Where fall, you get to like see the leaves change colors and go to the pumpkin patch and all those things. So first, little background on me. I've lived in a lot of parts of the country. I've lived in the Pacific Northwest. I've lived on like the West Coast, like southern more so. I've lived in Texas. I've lived on the East Coast in a variety of different places. So like with the exception of the Midwest, I have a pretty good handle on what fall looks like in different parts of the country. And I will say, my time in Vegas and my time in Texas, fall was kind of sad because it's like not really places that are conducive to doing fun fall things. Not to say that they don't exist. The weather's cooling down in the fall, which is really nice in both of those places because you're finally getting a reprieve from the ridiculous temperatures. But if you're the kind of person that's like me and you want to go to a pumpkin patch and eat apple cider donuts, you're not really going to find it there. So that's just something to keep in mind. Alternatively, crowds are low. If you want to go to Vegas right now, crowds are low because everybody goes to Vegas in the summer, which doesn't make any sense to me, but fall's a good time. So, okay, let's talk about different places to go in the fall domestically and like why you would want to go there. So obviously Northeast, beautiful. We had some friends in town last week from Vermont. And I was like, you guys, the foliage. And they said, Kayla, respectfully, we live in the land of fall foliage and like it's already frosting for us. So I've never been to Vermont, but I can attest that the leaves changing colors here in Philadelphia is absolutely beautiful. So lots of fun foliage to check out, tons of great like pumpkin patches and apple orchards and all of those activities that you may be interested in. And there's also Salem outside of Boston, which is spooky. Like there's a lot of fun spooky things. So like in Philadelphia, we've got like Edgar Allan Poe stuff around. There's a lot going on in the New England area is all. And I don't think you can really go wrong coming here. But also like I'd never been here for fall until moving here. So take that as you will. So another place for fall that's beautiful is Asheville, North Carolina, which I have been to in the fall, and it is beautiful. Again, you've got the fall foliage. It's just like small town, beautiful. Like I can't even describe it. Like it's in the middle of the mountains. You've got the Biltmore, which is just this beautiful sprawling estate. It's a vibe. It's a vibe, and it's a vibe that's like the type of vibe that you see in movies. And I really appreciate that when it comes to fall. If you like a good moody fall, you can't go wrong with the Pacific Northwest. You've got the beautiful Olympic National Rainforest, which is going to be super rainy and cold and wet. But again, that's a vibe for some people. It's giving Twilight. If you're a fan of Twilight, I know that this is the time of year for a lot of Twilight stands, and you really can't do any better than Pacific Northwest. Also, I do think Pacific Northwest, best place to go for apples. I am biased, but I'd say it's the best place to go. It's a great time of year to go out to the beach. Again, going to be wet and cold, but I've done like Thanksgiving at the beach before, and that was a lot of fun. So you could do that. Again, I'm biased, and I think that Pacific Northwest fall is fantastic. So also, if you're a fan of Halloween Town, you can go to St. Helens, Oregon if you're in Pacific Northwest. Always a good time. I mean, I personally would rather see Halloween Town than Salem, but that's just me. I've never been to either one, if I'm being honest with you, but they're both an option, depending on which coast you're on. So another option that I love, but have not been to in the fall, is Sedona, Arizona, which weather cooling down, it's perfect. I will say if you get just a little bit outside of Sedona, it's actually like a pretty chilly place to be. But it's just beautiful, and it's shoulder season. So like there aren't as many crowds, which is really great. And it's not unbearably hot, and it's just the Red Rock in fall. That's a vibe. So that's just, my thoughts on that. Or if you're in the mood for it, a national park this fall, maybe not. I'm hoping that by the time I post this, the government shutdown has ended, but I do know that right now a lot of national parks are closed. All the ones in Philadelphia are closed because of the government shutdown. So that's just something to keep in mind. But you don't have to travel to go and enjoy fall, right? So, I mean, like you have to travel and that you have to leave your house probably, but like you can do stuff locally. So when I lived in the Pacific Northwest, you could literally throw a rock and hit a pumpkin patch, an apple orchard, a farm, something, a corn maze. Most of those things are all at the same place. Outside of Philly, there are tons of options. Like I said, when I lived in Vegas, it wasn't a great place for it, but there was somewhere to go if you wanted to do like a pumpkin patch corn maze. I've been to ones in Charlotte. Like everywhere that you can think of, there's going to be something you can do. If that is a matter of going on a hayride, going through a corn maze. I'm trying to think of the other like fun things that they do. Sometimes you can like shoot apples. That stuff scares me because it's too loud. But I love a good corn maze. I love a good pumpkin patch. I love a good apple orchard. I love a good farm store. If I don't have to make anything and I can just have pre-made goods. Last year we went and bought a bunch of different varieties of apples. And then I made the mistake of making a compote with all of them. And they were a lot of different textures. And that was really unfortunate. So this year I'm going to try to stick to the same varietals or like making multiple compotes. We'll see how it goes. But that should be nice. The one thing to keep in mind is this time of year, the weather can be unpredictable. So as I stated earlier, 2 days ago, it was 80 degrees. Today, it's currently 61. I'm in a sweatshirt. It's great. It can be really cold in the morning, and then it can get really warm during the day. So if you're planning like a day trip or a weekend trip somewhere, make sure that you're packing layers. Also, most of the country right now, I think, is about to experience some rain. So maybe an umbrella or a raincoat, depending on the part of the country that you're in, because honestly, in the Pacific Northwest, we don't really believe in umbrellas. But then here, I think people do use umbrellas. But then if you go to like New York City, again, you're back to no umbrellas. So, whatever works best for you. Also, keep in mind that there are some long weekends. This is actually coming out on Indigenous Peoples Day. So maybe you have today off. I don't know. Maybe no one's going to listen to this podcast because nobody's having to like work or anything today or commute. But that's just something to keep in mind. This time of year, you do have those those opportunities to really maximize your time. Also, daylight savings is coming up. So that's something to keep in mind. It's going to start getting darker even earlier than it already feels like it is. So take advantage of the sunny time that you've got in the end of October. So for me, when it comes to fall, there are a few things that I really want to experience. 1, corn maze. 2, pumpkin patch. And I don't mean like I don't need to go pick my own pumpkin, but like again, give me a good farm store that has like a bunch of different types of pumpkins that I can pick from. And 3, apple cider donuts. Like those are the things I want to experience personally in the fall. I do really want to get some good fall foliage in. I do know that around here there are a couple train rides I could take to go out places and see the fall foliage. But also, I'm looking outside and everything's still pretty green here. So I think I have a couple more weeks before we're going to have real foliage out there. But I hope that you all have a wonderful fall. I can't wait to see everybody's Halloween costumes. You know, that's another thing for fall. Going to the theme parks and going to haunted houses. See, I'm not a haunted house girl. I want nothing to do with that. Me personally, I'm ready for December to be here. That's the time of year that I like in terms of just like decorations and festivities and like things to do. And I love gifts. But we'll get into that later. It's still October. I need to calm down. If you have fun things you're doing this fall, please let me know. If you have a favorite place that you've traveled in the fall, tell me because I need to put it on my list. And until next time, let's just go.